Hey everybody, what is up? Fourth Seraph here, and today we're starting something new here on the channel. I'm going to be reviewing some gameplay here of Overwatch and just kind of talking through it. Instead of really talking about a specific subject, I'm going to just kind of talk about this game and what happened. So this is one of my gameplays on Volkswagen Industries here, where we do end up tying it, but I think there's a lot of interesting things here that I think will help me improve by going back and looking at it, and I think will help a lot of you guys as well. So if you want me to review your gameplay, because I don't want to just do my gameplays every time, I want to start doing this more often, but if you want me to review any of your gameplay, then go ahead and email that gameplay to contact.fourthseraph@gmail.com, and I will see it and just maybe title it Overwatch Gameplay, or can you review this, or whatever, just so I know that you want me to look at that, and it may possibly be featured in a video. So if you want me to do that, make sure to email that, and as well, also make sure that you use my Amazon links down in the description below when you buy anything off Amazon. That's like the best way to support the channel, so make sure you do that, as it really helps. Anyways, let's get started on this. So you see, we just started now, and my team pushes in pretty early, but we don't really confirm a lot of kills. Surprise, surprise, I start off with 4 gold medals. And my team we push in together and really push them back because they don't have a lot of tanks, a lot of characters that can really hold us at the choke, but then my whole team kind of scatters apart and goes both ways, and this really just kind of messes us up. We do end up getting a pretty fast capture time on this point though. Luckily I'm able to confirm a couple kills on the healers and stuff, and so it really helps us get this first point. And I decided to go tank here. Obviously, I'm playing Zarya here at the beginning, and our other tank is Roadhog. So we've got a pretty solid team comp here, and everything looks to be going pretty well. I do have a little trouble finding people this whole game to shield. So you'll notice a lot of times I end up at a pretty low charge. I decide to follow this Reaper in though, because I think he has his ult. And so I'm trying to communicate with him here. I don't actually have my mic in at this point. I've been having problems with the voice chat in Overwatch, and so it's really not been working. So I leave Reaper here to go try and follow our Mei, because she ults, which really isn't a good ult because no one really gets caught in it, and most of our team is not actually there at the point. But I try and follow her and push in, and luckily Zen follows up with Transcendence and stuff, and we are able to push him back a decent amount and get on point here pretty early, and I kind of push here behind, and we get pretty much team wiped. You see a couple people just I don't know if they died really early on in the fight or just ran back, but those were the Mei and the Reaper that pushed in really early with me, and once again, same problem. They just kind of ran off on their own and died, and so for Reaper to essentially team wipe us, he only ended up getting 2 or 3 more kills with that, which is a pretty standard Reaper ult. And so now I have Graviton Surge. We're going to try and go back in, but once again we have the problem, people pushing in and peeking before really everyone is there, and then our Roadhog kind of goes in. I don't have any way to shield him because I've already used it on someone else, and both Mei and Roadhog are really running in. And we're pretty unorganized again. And this is a big problem people have, where they will try to run in without really being able to have the whole team there. And team fights are so important in Overwatch. You can't just try and run in by yourself, and especially if people say to group up. This happens all the time. Someone will say to group up, and then people will stand at the choke and kind of fight there and think that means grouping up. And so often I see people say that, and then one person goes off and dies, and then once again you can't do a full team fight because you're already down a person. So group up as far back as you can, group up in spawn if possible. That way no one can get picked off, or whatever. Group up far back so that no one's fighting you, no one's shooting at you, whatever, and you can push in as a full team. So once again, you see I was one of the last ones to die. Obviously I'm a tank, I kind of have a little bit more survivability, and I'm not playing as reckless as a lot of these guys, but whole team had pushed in again, and you see that I thought about switching to Tracer but didn't want to because we didn't have a lot of tanking, and so I decided to stay as Zarya, and we are able, I think we pretty much capture the point right now. I think we kind of get it. They kind of trickle in but aren't really able to get in fast enough. Luckily, they don't have a good like stalling team at all. And so with the few of us that are here, we are able to cap the point, and I didn't have to switch to Tracer. But I will here in a minute. I believe it's in the next round. I think I might play Zarya for a minute and then switch. But you can see that the Zarya hasn't really worked out well. Like most of the time, I'm not able to shield my team because no one's communicating. I don't know when people are going to ult. Like that Roadhog ult, when he did it, that's the perfect time for Zarya to shield you because everyone will try and focus you. You can't heal, so not only will Zarya get a ton of charge, but her shield will actually do what it's supposed to do, which is shield you and keep you alive and give you that extra 200 health so that you can't get focused down super hard. And so it makes it a lot more effective, but really no one's like communicating too much. But we actually finished with a pretty solid time, and I'm feeling pretty confident about this game, but you'll see, I think I start out on Zarya again here, and we actually just get punished pretty quickly here, and this round they're going to get an amazing time. Because on defense, if you guys are unorganized, you don't have respawn advantage, especially on first point. You do on the second point, and so risky plays can be a little bit more worth it, which is what I'm going to talk about once I switch to Tracer in overtime. But you can't play as risky on defense because you don't have respawn advantage, and that's something a lot of people don't understand. That's why you can sometimes, at the beginning of a map, if you're attacking, play a character like Hanzo or Widowmaker, because by getting that one pick, and then I know a lot of people will switch from Widowmaker, but even Hanzo, like someone will sometimes play him, so you get your first ult there at the beginning, and because you can get a few picks, and you can, even though you might die, those few picks are gonna be worth it. If you can trade 1-for-1 and you have respawn advantage, that means you will win. But here on defense, where we don't, you can't trade 1-for-1. You can't play aggressive and go out and kill someone just to confirm a kill if it means that you're going to die. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They'll go out and they'll die, but they'll say, well, I killed someone, so it's still an even fight. But it's not, because their team is going to be able to get back into the fight a lot faster than your team will be able to, and that makes a difference. That is actually the reason that Symmetra isn't ever played on attack, because you don't traditionally need a teleporter, right? Because you have respawn advantage almost all the time. That's why defense, it's easier to defend on the choke than it is to push through it. But you see, like, already, like, our team, like, is pretty aggressive. Like, that Mei is really running out there, and I try and save her, but having to iceberg like way back there is not helpful, and we kind of all have to come and try and save her life, and she does kind of make it out. But like, once again, this Diva's up here, no one else is shooting at her really too much. Zen fires off a couple shots, Mei is able to wall them off, but then no one was really shooting through Ryan's shield either, and so half of our team is just so far back and just not grouped up at all that we're really not confirming any kills. And then Mei there essentially just blocks us off instead of trying to actually block off the other team. So she just basically pushes them through the choke in the opposite way that we want them to go, because we're not there. And so we get wiped here pretty quickly. Our Zen actually wastes his Transcendence big time, because we should have just given them that point. That's another thing. Don't ever be afraid to just concede the first point. If you guys can't get out there to contest, then group up, wait on the second point, let them push hard, and then team wipe them and just hold it there. It's easier to hold the second point almost all the time. Like, you're pretty much destroying a team if you stop them from capping first point. So it's almost always going to happen. Almost every game I play in, it happens. So group up, hold second point, and like, don't play super risky, because you see, like, even I was playing fairly aggressively. I knew we had 2 healers here, so I figured I could manage, but we now have our full team grouped up here, which luckily we didn't get punished too hard, because our Zen still died like so early on. But like, a lot of times I see people do that, and they basically just like don't get to hold the second point at all, because they all died. So you see we get like pretty wiped here. Again, I try and use Graviton. I think, you know, we've at least wasted both their support ults, but, you know, maybe it's okay. For some reason, half our team just doesn't even see their Graviton there and think to run the other way. Our Mei just stupidly runs in there. Clearly not a very good Mei. She's made quite a few really obvious mistakes. So I switched to Tracer here, because we're really just not confirming too many kills, and our DPS characters are dying so fast that we're really not able to, I'm not able to shield them or do anything to get charged to really make Zarya super useful. So I decide, no matter what my team does, I'm going to play Tracer, I'm going to play DPS. And you'll see here, I do okay on attack, but on defense, I play pretty unorthodox, and so that's mainly why I wanted to use this gameplay. I know it's not like a crazy amazing gameplay, but I think it's actually better to use ones where it's either a close game, or you lose, or you barely win, or it's a tie, because you can look and say, okay, like, what did I do? If you just absolutely stomp them, it's a lot harder to look and say, okay, what do I need to improve on? What do I need to do? But in this game, like, it's obvious looking back at a lot of mistakes. Like, I should have switched to from Zarya earlier. I probably should have tried to stay back a little bit more and just shield my team instead of, you know, either following the DPS that wanted to go off on their own or trying to run in and get a lot of kills myself with low charge. And so it's good to look at these gameplays, and I think it'll help everyone improve a lot if we just analyze gameplays and stuff, and I know a lot of channels do that, and it seems to actually help a lot of people. So I play Tracer this round, and a lot of times with Tracer, what I'll try and do first is get my ult. And so I'll try and get my ult by using the tanks, just basically shooting a bunch of damage into them. I know what you're thinking, well, that gives support ults, but what I find is that it's usually pretty easy. Like, I can get my ult before support can get their ult if I'm, you know, playing well, and so I'll try and get my ult that I can use to take out either some of their DPS or their support, and then either go to their backline and kill their support like I'm supposed to, or use it to kill their DPS if their support are already dead. I think that just like having that ult where you can take out one person from the fight, or two people from the fight, or three if you're lucky, really makes a big difference, especially too, like, if they have two supports. Usually the supports are pretty close together, so a lot of times it's pretty beneficial to go back and hit them with your ult so you know for sure they're going to die, because especially if they have like a Roadhog, it will not take you a long time to get your ult as Tracer. So just shoot him, let him heal. He doesn't really have a good ult, so it doesn't matter if you're giving him ult charge by healing. And if you know you can go back and confirm kills on the supports, then it doesn't matter, because they will be out of the fight and unable to use their ultimates. And so it's actually, even though you feed them a little bit of ult charge, it actually ends up being okay. But you see, I try and play pretty aggressively. I really want to cap this point quick, but I do get hooked by Roadhog, unfortunately, and die. And so I decided to flank around a little bit because they are kind of holding us at the choke. And here is probably a time where I didn't need to run in. They wiped us. I thought we might be able to still be on here, but I'm going to play pretty aggressively still, because we definitely need to make some plays. We're in overtime. We need to cap this point because they have 5 minutes, so there's like no way they're not. And I try and hit recall, but unfortunately just a half a second too late, and get murdered by Mei, which was really stupid because now once again my team is going to run in with 5. Our Lucio leads the charge instead of letting a tank do that, and gets killed immediately. I'm trying to adjust my settings right now to get team chat to work, because for some reason, like I said, my Xbox, it just won't connect at all. I've tried every possible thing, and I just cannot figure out how to get it to work. But I'm trying to get on team chat so I can tell them, like, hey, everybody, like, let's group up, stop running in. And so because I'm Tracer, I can afford to peek a little bit so long as I don't get hooked by Roadhog. And I try and go in and make some plays and kill some people before my team gets there, because I know they're all just going to rush in right away. And I don't want to hold my ult for too long as Tracer, because I know that I get it so quickly. And so even a missed ult, like, is sometimes better than just holding it forever. But I do go to their back line and am able to take out their Mercy, so that's a pretty good win for this fight. Although we're still not able to really, like, kill too many people. We're kind of all over the place still, and our D.Va ults and doesn't really get anything, and our team gets wiped again. And we actually are not going to be able to capture this. I actually don't think anyone really gets on to contest too much. People kind of run in there and just immediately die. Our team is definitely not the best this time. They don't necessarily understand a lot of what, like, makes a good team. I try and get in here to contest, but their whole team is still alive, so I get wiped pretty quickly, and so does everyone else running in. And so, like, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to take a miracle for us to win. I don't think we can, but I'm kind of thinking, okay, we can still tie. And I know a lot of people, like, at this point, like, just get upset, angry, and, like, a tie is still significantly better than a loss. So always go and just go, like, there's still something I can do to tie. Because a lot of times, like, people get in this mindset of, like, well, I'm doing well, I have a lot of medals, like, why am I not winning? Like, I don't know what else to do, but there's always more that we can do to carry the team, and that's pretty much exactly what I'm going to do this round. And you'll see, because we lose this first point very quickly again. The first point probably isn't the best for Tracer, but I wanted to make sure that I have that character because I know that she is going to be so useful on the second point. And so instead of trying to switch to someone that'll be better, I just say, okay, I'll let, someone else on my team have McCree or Reaper or whatever, whoever's going to be a better character on this point, and play Tracer, someone who's not quite as good on the first point here, I don't think, because it's kind of weird confined spaces, so your blinks aren't always going to be super useful. It's really easy to get caught on walls and a truck and all sorts of different stuff and kind of hard to evade, but by making sure I have this character, because Tracer is a character that definitely people like to switch to and stuff. Like, obviously, she's a very popular character, and so sometimes just locking in the hero that you need to use is actually going to be more beneficial. Now, if we had to hold them at the first point here, and that was actually possible, it wouldn't have been a good decision for me to do that. I'm not trying to be like the insta-lock Hanzo. I'm only playing Hanzo because I'm still willing to switch if it doesn't work, but I'm willing to switch on second point if it doesn't work. Because they pretty much are guaranteed to cap this first point, I think this team is actually better than my team. I'm not going to try and do anything that's gonna be too crazy or off the wall, but I do know like kind of what I need to do in order to possibly carry. And you can see like our Reinhardt got wiped right away again because all our DPS were all over the place. Everyone's kind of starting to switch, and like I'm pretty scared at this point that people are gonna run out and get killed. And I think our Reinhardt actually does charge out there again. Yeah, and he goes and he gets killed immediately. And so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and stall them for a bit because I know that my team isn't going to be set up yet. And I think this Junkrat kind of has the same idea. And so luckily this D.Va charges in because she thinks it's just me, gives me my ult. We get a kill, which is really important, so that they're down a person in the fight, which is going to give us a little bit of an advantage because they're, of course, going to try and just run in right away. I'm able to get a couple kills on the Zenyatta and on the Lucio, I think, here as well, which is going to be important. Now, also, that was a good kill on Lucio because that staggered his death like quite a bit. Somehow the D.Va saw me in there, so I just decided to run away. I decided I'm not going to get that kill, so I'm just going to peace out from there. But most of this game, I'm going to play forward of the choke. The reason is that if I get killed, it's going to take them a few seconds before their team's probably even going to push in. And I want to be able to get out and stall if they do get in and get a team wipe. And so my goal here is to actually not play with my team, which is pretty unorthodox. I know this goes against everything everyone says because it's always like, oh, play with your team, play with your team. But my team has like gotten wiped so easily so many times that I know that I'm playing a character with a decent amount of survivability, and so if they do get wiped, I want to be able to go in and contest for long enough for them to be able to get out again. And so you see they pop like a ton of ults, and that's exactly what happens. We get wiped, I go in to just do as much stalling as possible and wait for my team to get back out, because obviously we still have a long time. We need to get them off, and they are able to get one tick, but just barely before my team gets out. Then luckily our Mercy does a really smart revive, and this isn't the traditional, like a lot of Mercies will wait for 6 people or 5 people to die before they revive. That's not what you want to do as Mercy. You definitely want to do it like if there's a good opportunity, because your job as Mercy is firstly to keep your team alive, and so some Mercies will just hide the whole game until they have ult and then just like just wait for their whole team to get wiped all at the same time. Doing a 2 or 3 person revive isn't a bad thing. I might have been the only one that got revived. I didn't see there might have been one other person, but it allowed us to push them off the choke because Mercy knew that I'm a high DPS character. That's where I'm going to be really effective in those tight places when their whole team is there. I'm able to throw my ult and get a couple kills with it. I'm able to, get back out into the fight, and we're able to do some work. And you can see once again, like, super aggressive there. Luckily, I'm able to play like enough of an unorthodox style where their team isn't really expecting it. But this Zenyatta, you can tell, is really not happy with me. I keep getting discorded. But this is actually good because right now I got discorded, and so I'm able to just pretty much like hide in there and have the discord on me. Like, if you can take Zenyatta's discord away by like just having it on you and not going out and getting killed, then that's super useful because that is basically like Zenyatta's usefulness, right? And so if you can take that away, then that's going to be a good thing for your team. And so a lot of people will get discord and they'll still run and try and fight. Just don't try and fight. Just go hide. And if he takes it off you, go back out and fight. But if he doesn't, then just go ahead and chill. You're going to see here, I'm going to go and try and take the Lucy out. A lot of their team has been killed already, but Soldier does come up from behind, so I'm not able to confirm the kill. That would have been really useful. Anytime you can go and pick off a healer and so his spawn is going to be staggered, that's going to be really good. Especially with a Zenyatta or an Ana, because they have a lot lower mobility. That's going to be actually a lot more useful than killing like a Lucio, because he can get back to the fight pretty quick there. And so you don't, like, killing Lucio isn't as much of a priority, I don't think, as killing a Zenyatta, because the Discord Orb can put fights in your favor like so much, and so and his ult is actually pretty fast charging. A lot of people don't think so, but if you're a good Zenyatta, like, you'll get your ult quickly, and can a lot of times be used more effectively than I think Lucio's ult. I think I like Zenyatta's better normally. Like, obviously they both help with different things, but Zenyatta is definitely your priority as Tracer because he comes back so slow and is so good. So if you can get a good pick on him and really keep him out of the fight, then that's going to be super useful. You'll see my team tries to kind of get pretty aggressive here, which I'm not super happy about because I kind of want them to all be back and make sure they don't die. But you see, once again, I go outside of the choke. I like to go up to this point. This team, like, actually, if they were smarter and more coordinated, they probably would have actually pushed up and tried to get me and then taken that opportunity to push into the point. But I'm just going to basically go back behind them again and try and get a kill on one of their important DPSs. And you see I take a big advantage from that Zen ult. A lot of people don't know they're getting shot when Zen is ulting because you get healed so quickly, or they won't even pay attention. So as Tracer, go in and just get your ult as fast as you can. Do as much damage as possible. That's a good time to just do, like, it doesn't matter about kills. Just confirm that damage and get it, because then you can throw your ult, and even if Zen is ulting, you can still confirm kills on the squishier targets. But anyways, guys, hopefully that gameplay helped you, talking through a lot of that. A lot of what I was doing is kind of an unorthodox playstyle where I actually left my team in order to be able to get back and contest in case they got wiped. But we were able to tie, so we didn't go down any rank, although we weren't able to win. Like, I think that was a good gameplay to look at because had some trouble in the beginning as Zarya, which is really what our team needed, and went to kind of a pick that a lot of people would say it wasn't good because I was switching to another DPS when we already had some, but sometimes that's what you have to do in order to win. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and comments down below. And if you guys have any gameplay, like I said, email those to contact.fourthseraph@gmail.com, and I will start reviewing some of those for you guys. Use my Amazon links if you guys think of it. And until next time, I will see you guys online.